Hello, welcome again to our tutorial. David. And before we start, I will request you to subscribe to my channel, like and share. Please subscribe, like and share my channel. Now, today we are going to look at engineering survey with more focus on rise and fall method. Normally using theodolite, we have two methods. We have height of coordination method and rise and fall method. So for this tutorial, we'll look at rise and fall method. Now, under rise and fall method, we'll have to define some basic terms. We have a term called backsight. So a backsight is the first reading after setting the instrument. So it is normally taken at a known point like a benchmark or a foresight. It is denoted by BS, meaning backsight. Then another terminology, we have what we call the intermediate sight. Now, intermediate sight or intersight are reading taken between backsight and foresight and are denoted by or denoted as IS. So the reading taken between backsight and foresight are known as intersight. I'll demonstrate. Then we have foresights. These are the last reading after setting the instrument, and they are denoted by FS. Then lastly, we have what you call a benchmark. A benchmark is a point with known elevation. So we denote it by PM. So maybe when you start your surveying, you find like there will be a point, the point of origin. Now that point will have a non-reduced level or a non-elevation. So that point, we call it a benchmark. Sometimes we call it temporary benchmark, TBM, or just benchmark. Now to illustrate what we've said, now if I have this, take an example. If I want to survey this route here, assume I'm surveying here. So this is my survey route. Now if I set my instrument here, where can I change the color? So, yes. So if I set my theodolite here, now assume this is my instrument. So if I set it here, now my benchmark will be here. So I will read, sorry. So if this is my theodolite, so let me say position 1. So we'll have this one here. Now the value I read here, this value here, this will be backsight, which is the first reading after setting the instrument. Now I'll continue, I'll be able to read here. I read another one here. I read another one here. I read another one here. And maybe now from here, I can't read anymore. Now this one here, this point, and this one, we call them the intersights or intermediate sight, which are reading taken between backsight and foresight. Now, beyond this point, I assume I'm not able to see the leveling stuff. The leveling stuff is what enable us to read the value. It will be 2 for now. I will move this instrument from point 1 to point 2. So I'll bring it to point 2. Now instrument comes to point 2. Point 2. Now this point here, we call it a foresight. In relation to point 1 is called a foresight. Why? Because it's the last reading after setting the instrument. Now the first, if my instrument is here initially, backsight is this first reading here. Then I will have intermediate or intersight 1, intersight 2, intersight 3. Now I will have the last reading after setting up this at point 1. So this one I will call it a foresight, because now if I have another point, I'm not able to read with instrument at point 1. So this will be backsight, the first reading after setting, then intersight, and then I will have the foresight. The last reading I can make you when instrument is at point 1. So when I move instrument at point 2, remember we'll also read on this leveling stuff. So now this one here, foresight for point 1 will be backsight for point 2. So in this point here, it will be called a change point. Why? Because now we have shifted our instrument from point 1 to point 2. Now we shall call it a change point. So at any change point, we have two readings. One reading the foresight of the previous position, and the other reading the backside of the new position. Now the process will continue that way. Now assuming now this will be intersight, until now we change our theodolite to another position. If we change it to here, it means this one will be foresight for instrument position 2, but will be backside for instrument position 3. Then this one, 1, 2, 3, they'll be intersights. And now from there, let's go to what we call, now we have mathematical equations we use for rise and fall method. So when we take backside minus foresight, if you get positive, it is a rise. Now, it's not necessarily backside. Just say if you take previous value minus current value. If the value is a positive, it is a rise, and if the value is a negative, it is a fall. Now let me show you. If I have my instrument here, and then this is the survey route, assume it goes this way, that way. Now, so you find we have my backside, my intermediate. Let me assume this is my foresight, instrument position 2, this position 1, position 2. Then I continue, I have that, I have that, I have that. Now we are saying if you take backside or previous minus current, if it is positive, it means a rise. Now, if this leveling stuff here, assume the reading we take from here, so all the way. Now you might find that this point here is reading 3 meter, but this point here, now the point here, it will be reading 1.7 meter. Because you see, this is 3 meter because the leveling stuff is coming from here, going upward. But for this point, it is coming from here, going upward. So if I take 3 meter minus 1.7 meter, I get plus 1.3 meter. Now, because it is a positive value, then I'll automatically say it is a rise. I will enter it in the column of rise. Now, but if I come here, now if I take this point here, maybe let me extend the line. So now remember this point here is foresight for instrument position 1, but it's a backside for instrument position 2. So if I take this reading here, it go all the way to the reading here, you will find that maybe this one is, we can give it 2.8. And now because this one is too low, the leveling stuff will go very deeper. Now you get, let's say 3.3. So if I take previous 2.8 minus current 3.3, I get negative 0.5. Because of a negative, it is a fall. You can see even now it's a depression. Like the higher the value indicated on the leveling stuff, it means the depression. It means the lower the elevation. So if the leveling staff gives a small reading, it means it is a rise. But if it gives you a big reading, it means it is a fall. That is what it implies. Then let's go to arithmetic check. Very important check. You must do this check wherever you use rise and fall method. So if you take the sum of back sides minus sum of four sides should give you the sum of rise minus the sum of fall, which will the same give you last reduced level minus first reduced level. Let's go to an example. So an example says, the following readings were taken with a leveling instrument using a staff of 4 meters long. We have 2.0 as the first value up to 0.8 the last value. So we are being told the instrument was shifted after the 4th, 9th, and 11th, 4th, 9th, 11th, and 13th reading. Now, it indicates we have change point at 0.4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have change point at 0.4, change point at 0.9, change point at 0.9, and change point at 0.11. Then lastly, change point at 0.13. So like I told you, wherever you have a change point, it means you have two values. You have the foresight for the previous position of instrument, and at the same point, we have the backside of the new instrument position. Now, let's complete this particular table. Now we are solving. Now, these two is backside, because say backside is the first reading obtained after setting the instrument. Now, when we move along, we've been told the first reading was taken on benchmark. We said benchmark is a point with a non-reduced level or non-elevation, so it will be 100. Now, in our remark, we shall say BM, meaning it's our benchmark. Now, because this is the backside and the change point is at the 4th reading, then it means the second and third reading are the intersite. So we enter them in the column of intersite. So we will have 2.5. Now, if I have 2.5, remember we said for you to determine whether it's a rise or fall, I'll take the previous reading minus current reading. So I'll take 2.0 minus 2.5, I get negative 0.5. But instead of writing negative, now you go to the column of fall and enter 0.5. Now, if it is a fall, to get the reduced level, you take the previous reduced level minus the fall value, so which is 100 minus 0.5, you get 99.5. Now we'll go to another one, is 3.1. We say this 3.1, it is intersite. Why? Because the change point is at 3.9. So if I enter 3.1, now for me to determine rise or fall, I look at the previous reading 2.5 minus current, which is 3.1, I get is negative 0.6, but I cannot write negative. I will enter 0.6 under the fall column. Then now to find the reduced level here, I'll come to the previous reduced level minus fall. So it is 98.9. Now we go to change point. We are told the instrument was shifted. It means this point is a change point. So at change point, we must have two values. We have one value, which is the foresight for the previous position, and value, which is the backside for the new instrument position. Now, for this case here, the first value to come is the foresight, and the second one is the backside. Now, for example, here, we'll come and say this 0.6 here is backside. Now, for the new instrument position, this one here. But now 3.9 is the foresight. Now, the first value, this first value, the foresight for the last instrument position. Now, the same will happen. We will just come and say 3.1 minus 3.9. It is negative 0.8. But now instead of negative, I'll write 0.8 under fall column. So then I come 98.9 minus 0.8, I get 98.1. Now, under remark, indicate CP1. CP1, it means change point 1 because you have been told it was shifted. So, remark is change point 1. Now we move on. When I move here, now remember I've finished with position 1. So, I will not consider 3.9. I will go to 0.6, which is now the backside, the first reading of the second instrument position. So you'll come and say 0.6 minus 1.3, it is negative 0.7, which means it is a fall. So reduced level will be 98.1 minus 0.7, I get 97.4. Now I'll come here and say, now before I reach this 2.1, which is a change position, all these values 1.3, 2.0, and 2.8 are intersites. So you'll enter them 1.3, 2.0, 2.8 under the column of intersites. So if I take 1.3 minus 2.0, I get negative 0.7. Put it under fall. So I take 97.4, which is previous, minus fall to get the current, which is 96.7. Now I'll move again and say 2.0 minus 2.8, it is negative 0.8, which means it's a fall. Then I take 96.7 minus 0.8 to get 95.9. Now, when we move, remember we have another change point, and we said at each change point we have both value for backside and forward side, but we say the first value to come is the forward side. Now, for example, 2.1 will be the forward side for instrument position 2. But now 3.1 will be the backside for instrument position 3. Now the new position. So I'll come here and indicate it is a change position 2 or change point 2. Now I'll enter 2.1 in the forward side and 3.1 in the back side. Now I'll come and say 2.8 minus 2.1 is plus 0.7. Because it's plus, I put it under rise. Now I put it under rise. Then now we are finished with change position 1 instrument. Now we start with change position 2 instrument. So I will start with the 3.1 minus 0.9. I get plus 2.2. I put it under rise. Now remember, we also have a change position here. Change position was at 0.9, at 0.11. So here we have a change position, meaning, like I said, 0.9 will be the forward side and 3.0 will be the back side. That's how it's entered. The one which comes first is forward side, which comes last is the back side. So you'll come and say, now we have finished 3.1 minus 0.9, we get 2.2. Now, if it is a rise, you just come previous reduced level plus the rise to get the current reduced level. So you take 96.6 plus 2.2, 98.8. So if it's a rise, you add. If it's a fall, you subtract. Now you'll also come and say 3.0 minus 1.2. So previous minus current, 1.2, it will give me plus 1.8, which is a rise. So then I take 98, find reduced level here is 98.8 plus that, I get that. Then now this change position 4. This is now the 13th reading. Now I'll come and say, now I'll finish with this. Now I'll come and say 2.3 minus 0.8, you get 1.5. So 1.5 is positive, which means you enter in the column of rise. Then now, to find the reduced level here, I take previous plus rise, I get this one. Now, we can compute total whereby we say the sum of four sides are this value we have, you add them, you get 8.9. Then we have the sum of rise. The sum of rise, you just come and compute them, 0.7, 2.2, you get 6.2. And then the sum of fall, you have 4.9, sorry, 4.1. Then we have the sum of backsides are here. You can add them, you get, they are giving you 11. So we said if arithmetic check, you must ensure the sum of backsides minus sum of foresides are equivalent to rise minus fall, which will be equivalent to last reduced level minus first reduced level. Now let's substitute. Sum of backsides is 11 minus sum of foresides is 8.9. This will give us 2.1. Now, if we come to the sum of rise, we get 6.2 minus sum of fall, 4.1. It will give us 2.1. Then another one, last one is last reduced level. Last reduced level is 1 or 2.1. Then first reduced level was our benchmark 100. It gives us 2.1. So meaning it is correct. So hence check. So our arithmetic, we have done it the correct way because the three are equal. Thank you very much. But as a reminder, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, like it, share with friends, tell them to subscribe so that we can continue with this good job. See you again in another tutorial. Goodbye.